Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 13th day of August 2020. Well, I have updated the computer. We'll see if that assists me in keeping the screen from blanking out. But if it does, again, you can still see, and then it comes back. So it's just I can't see it anymore. It literally goes black, and then it'll give the little, I don't see your video anywhere. That little message will come up, and then all of a sudden it comes right back. But the camera stays on, so I figure, well, it is what it is. I don't know what to say. I said I wasn't going to say that anymore because the impeached one said it about the death toll. I just caught myself there, didn't I? But I said it. I'm sorry. I'm really trying not to say that. I don't ever say it in a mean way, but golly, I don't like that. So I'm really trying not to do that anymore, and it just got away from me. I find the computer stuff to be frustrating at times. I know things about computers, but at the same time, I just, the potty mouth comes out. I don't know what to say. It just comes out when things happen. The gestures, all of it. So anyway, it devolves quickly, so I just don't want any issues. So anyhow, I hope you're all having a good day. I'm going to shuffle a little bit and then we'll get going. If this is your first time here, welcome. I take 3 cards, and if we need more after we talk about them, I'll take a couple more. But then we move on to the rune from the Geomancy rune bag, this one here. And then we close out with not a Geomancy rune bag. That's the Elder Futhark bag. Oh, God. and then I'll do a Geomancy rune to close. That's what I do. Oh well, it's Thursday. Jupiter's in retrograde, so all the expansion without needs to happen within today. Let go of perceptions that no longer serve and that are really ego-based, and transmute them to spirit and become who you really are. A soul inhabiting this body for just a short time. Well, I think that's all I'm going to do as far as shuffling goes. I've been bending my cards. I was just sitting here as I was watching the Esoteric Influences video. I was bending my cards back. Occasionally you got to do that because they get pretty bendy, and then it becomes difficult to shuffle. And I don't know. It gets caught in my shawl and everything else, so I don't know what you do about things like that. Let me move my keyboard down and get my tarot notes up in case I need something here, which I doubt, but you never know. Let's see, what do I have in Acrobat? Where are they? I went and looked up something else, and so now it's no longer here. There we go. Where's the one I want? There we go. There it is. Now we're ready. Well, I had to cut more motherwort yesterday, and so I was going to strip the leaf off before I put it out there to dry, and I didn't do that, so now I'm going to have to contend with it again. But I love motherwort. I like to make tinctures out of it. I like to include it in teas. Motherwort's great. I mean, if you're trying to get pregnant, or you are pregnant or anything like that, then you wouldn't want to probably use it. And if you're on medication or anything, you should probably check with your herbalist or your naturopath or whomever to see if that's, or whatever healthcare professional you use before you start doing any tincturing. But motherwort's great for crone issues, if you know what I mean, for menopause issues. Helps with hot flashes. It calms all of that. It's kind of a reproductive herb. So again, if you're pregnant or anything like that, you wouldn't want to use it. But if you're not, then I don't know. Again, if you're on medicines, though, you're going to want to check with your healthcare professional before using something like motherwort. So anyway, but I like it. Works for me. So I have one plant that I harvest. I've already harvested, I think, 3 times so far. This is my 3rd harvest on it. But it gets too big, and I like to get it before. You really need to let it flower. So I let it get it a little bit into flower. It really adds some potency to the whole thing. So, you know, if you have a motherwort plant, don't harvest it before the bloom. Let it bloom a little bit, but don't let it get crazy. I wouldn't let it get crazy and go full bloom or anything. I wouldn't do that, because then when you dry it, you know, it is so stickery. It hurts. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started and take our first 3 cards and see what we have for today. And I take the 13th one each time for randomness sake. In normal readings I don't, I just lay them out. We have the 4 of Pentacles. We'll talk about all of them more in depth. We'll just show you right now. If you haven't been here before, that's kind of what I do. Pentacles is the earth element. It's our foundation, our structure, and material security, welfare, health. Although 6 is usually more about health, but think the 6th house and all of that. But really, whatever constitutes the foundation of our lives, and you know, our physical health is one of those things. But here, you know, we see a king who's being miserly with his money. So yeah, I think that we know where this is going. Well, you know, tarot can reflect the individual, or it can reflect what's going on in the world. Here we have the Hangman again. I don't know if this was yesterday or the day before. Card 12 of the Major Arcana. Surrender to spirit. Yeah, the king doesn't know how to do that, does he? I don't like kings. I don't like the emperor. Well, I mean, who would, you know? Oh, another Pentacles, the 8. Magnification of the 4. That's interesting. We'll stop there, and if we need another card, and we might, then we'll look at it. But here we have the 8 of Pentacles, working diligently on your craft. On behalf of others, not just yourself. That's the 8. When we talk about numbers that are magnified, we look for patterns in tarot. I'll back up. We look for patterns in tarot. You know, you might see, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, or in this case 1, 2, 3, or you might see 2, 4, 6, or you know, here in this case we have a 4 and an 8. But you see the patterns that develop. Now 4 again is about material structure and foundation and all of that. For the individual, you could say establishing the pillars of society as well, if you want to look at it beyond the self. But then when you get to the 8, and we're in an 8 month, we're talking the spiritual warrior within. We're talking about leadership that understands the collective needs of society, not just the individual. So you see a progression. You see with the 2, you see inner balance, maybe balance with one other person, and then you move to the 4, which is a greater family structure, if you will. So still having to do with you, but your immediate surroundings, really, although it can have societal implications as well. Then you move on to the 6, and there's more higher self-involvement, where you start to understand shared purpose and shared direction and shared abundance, but the operative word being shared. Okay, so you start to see a progression from the 2, and now we reach the 8, where it's society, it's the collective, and it's understanding the greater needs of that. And so, again, we'll put the Hanged Man as the center card, and we're going to see triple aspects here. We see 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we see triple aspects in this card, the triple goddess aspects, drawing information from spirit, illuminating the form. Because you see his head's down here, and you see the enlightenment around that. It's a 3 energy. It's catalytic, mind, body, spirit balance, you can think. It's also other kinds of triple aspects, understanding past, present, and future. So if we want to look at that, if we want to look at it that way, we can, because this actually lends itself quite well to that. And let me see, where's my, oh, there's my note thing for today. And in case I need to draw out the rune and explode that out for you when we pull that out of the bag. But basically, yeah, I mean, we're going to go from a self-focus here with the king. You know, he's holding fast to his wealth, to his money. Turns his back on the kingdom. A definite delineation and energy and focus between what he wants and needs and desires and what the kingdom wants and needs and desires. He's just turned his back on it. Well, of course he has. We all know that. Because we know who this represents, don't we? He has to display his wealth for all to see, whether he came to it, you know, honestly or not, or grifting or whatever. You know, oh, I'm not going to take my paycheck. Well, why would you have to? When you can go golfing every week on the taxpayer's dime. Oh, but didn't he say so much about Obama when he took a vacation or he played a game of golf? Oh my goodness. The ridiculous things that came out of that man's mouth, and here he is doing it on steroids, as if the taxpayers are his purse. We're just here to enrich him. That's the energy of what's going on right now. But then we surrender to spirit. If we're having issues of what needs to happen in our lives and what our relationship is to other people, if we can't quite understand what we owe one another, okay, whether this is the king or your own expression of authority in your life, you know, you have to think about what it is you owe other people. And you may be of the belief that you owe nobody nothing. Well, when you live in a society with people, as we've talked about, something that I talked about earlier this week, Chris Maloney, the actor, and Steve Schmidt, the political operative, they both are talking about it. The obligation that we owe one another in a country, the obligation that the impeached one in charge, or not in charge, as it were, what he owes the country. They don't get it, all right? Instead, it's all ego-based. It's all personal sovereignty-based. You know, whatever this is for people, it's a misperception. And instead of having a self-focus, we need to be on a shared path with others, where what we do assists the collective. Now, he may be on the other side. You can see that line of demarcation right there that you see here. You see? And here. But he's focused on elevating society with what he's doing, elevating his own income, I'm sure, but it's for others. You can see it ascending upward. I mean, it could just be all across the ground, right? But that's not what we're talking about here. So there's a sense of leadership here, an understanding of the collective needs of society, or of the town anyway. That whatever he's doing, he's building the wealth not only for himself, but stacking it up on behalf of others. Kind of like cordwood getting ready for winter. And I think that that's the issue today. You know, are we able to think about only self, or are we able to think about others and do the kinds of things we need to do in terms of our collective responsibility toward one another? Even if it's turning away from this guy and his obvious need to harm the people. I don't know why he needs to harm us the way he is, but his decisions, the things he wants, you know, to have a reporter ask him, yeah, but what about the 97,000 kids that came down with this? And you know that's not the whole number, right? It's got to be higher. Just in the last 2 weeks of July, I talked about this on Esoteric Influences. Look, his whole attitude was no empathy at all. It's like, oh no, I don't care. You know, got to go back to school. Can't understand the ramifications, or he does, and that's worse, right? The same effect though. But what happens to the children when you figure 300,000 or 330? I've heard two numbers have come down with this. And almost 100,000 of that in in a 2-week time period. Well, you're talking a third of that number, roughly. But we're supposed to go full steam ahead, letting our kids go back to school in a petri dish? No. No. Yeah. Here we're waiting for our ship to come in, something new. You know, and maybe the election in November, I don't know. But here we have a 2. He holds one staff in one hand. There's another one affixed to the wall. You can see that down there. Right there is affixed to the wall. He's created a doorway into new experiences, and that's what we need to do. He's holding the globe in his hand. The 3 is actually watching a ship come in, because there you'll see ships on the harbor and the vitality of some new creative expression, because the water's not blue. But here we're looking for healing. Even though this is a card of the fire element, you know, and will, we need healing. We need healing for the world. New perspective, new will, new expression of will. More balanced will, if you will, which this guy has none, because it's all about him. This, however, is more of an expression of balanced will in terms of the creative force behind all of the pentacles. Pentacles is the earth element, you know. So here we're talking about really bringing everything into balance so that we can get rid of this attitude and supplant it with this. Let's take a look at our rune for the day. Rune from the Elder Futhark. Well, we have Uruz. Of course we do. Uruz is the second rune of the Elder Futhark, and it is drizzle. It is the forming force behind the manifestation. So what is that? That's spirit. That's source presence, that's source energy, getting us on the right track, and then from there we manifest. The dichotomy really, you know, the polarity that we experience here, when we get into form, sure, you talk masculine, feminine, you talk about that, but the true polarity is how do we manifest spirit into the bodies? And the body then, you know, becomes the vehicle for the ego to take over. And it doesn't stay in the realm of spirit. Now, maybe in some respects we need to have a little bit of that so that we can get the friction within to know, you know, okay, do I take this road or that road? Or maybe no road at all. But without that friction within, we just sit there, right? The nathis within, we just sit there. But with Uruz, what we're doing is we're manifesting something new today. And maybe it's the transition from the miserly king into the spiritual warrior who's willing to assist others, in not only just himself, but to make this be about other people as well. You know, the impeached one, the candidate. I don't know. Election time, I don't know. But I think that it really talks about that. What are we going to do? Are we going to manifest something that's from ego? Or are we going to look through the doorway into some kind of new shared experience with one another, coming together in balance and in unity? Let's see what the geomancy rune has to say, though. Oh, and when I write this up, when I write the esoteric influences up, I'll post the video. And then when I write it up, this is going to be the tarot card for today, the 8 of Wands instead of the 8 of Pentacles. So swiftness, swift action. And then the geomancy rune will be, let's see what we got. Oh, is that Tristitia? I always get those two mixed up. No, it's Laetitia. Ah, good. So I'll draw that out for you so you can see what that looks like. This is Laetitia. Laetitia's joy. So if we want to experience joy today, you know, we're going to have to come into harmony with other people. Joy and fellowship. Think Vunyo. But it's understanding this over this. This is Laetitia. Even sounds better than Tristisha. Tristisha is sorrow and sadness. But you see an active presence for fire, so that's our will. That's the single dot. Everything else is passive. Air, water, and earth. Coming into alignment with will. Allowing will to take hold, you know. But what kind of expression of will it be? This one that's self-dealing, in service to self, or in service to others. And again, you've got the magnification of the 4 into the 8, which is, you know, if you add that together, that's 12. Alignment in spirit here. 3 energy. So you see some alignment there as well. That's kind of cool. It's nice to go over it. That's why I keep going over it and over it, because eventually I'm going to see another pattern before I close out. Anyway, I guess that's it. Well, we didn't blip out today. That's pretty cool. Maybe all I needed to do was just reboot and install those updates. So maybe they do that. Maybe they just force you. They just skits out your computer and it's like, oh God, you know, did I not update? Maybe that's all it was. Hopefully. Anyway, thanks for watching. Check out the blog, Stepping Aside, over at imsteppingaside.com. I'd love you to do that. There's a Patreon page if you want to do that too. I also write over on Medium if you want to check out my stuff over there. I haven't done anything in a little while, a couple weeks, other than cross-post the esoteric influences, because I've been busy around here with harvesting this and that and planting other things for the fall garden. And but, you know, who knows? I'll come up with something. I've been trying to do kind of an herbal thing once a week, and I haven't done that. I didn't do one last week, and so I need to do that here. Maybe I'll get time today. I don't know. If not, then I'll try to get one done next week. Just sort of like a plant profile, both herbally and magically. So anyway, there'll be that. Anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on Monday. I only do this 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. Esoteric influences, though, go up every day. Always on the side panel of the left side panel of the blog, but also here on YouTube. So, both also go up on Instagram, and all my links are below, so you can check all those out. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you Monday. Have a wonderful day. Have a great weekend. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another. Hold your babies close, because they need you now more than ever. And blessed be.